Speak up, reach out, go vote, show out. From your neighbor to City Hall. Reach out, go vote, show out. Serving people is what it's all about. Reach out, go vote, show out. Frankfort civic proud. Speak up, reach out, go vote, show out.
From Capitol Halls to Bourbon Balls, this is the City of Frankfort podcast for Frankfortians. We are swapping stories and spilling tea, celebrating the quirks that make Kentucky's capital city the best hometown around. Welcome to the City of Frankfort podcast. I'm Kenton, and today I have the honor of speaking with Alex Cunningham.
Hey.
Who you may recognize as one of our hosts.
Yeah.
Okay. But what you may not know is that Alex is also the city's arborist.
I am, yes sir.
Okay. So, can you explain to us what is an arborist?
From my perspective, I think an arborist speaks for the trees. I know that sounds really hippie-fied of me, but I've had somebody before call me the Lorax. You know the story of the Lorax?
Oh yeah, I'm a Lorax.
Yeah, not everybody would say that. But yeah, my job, so I'm the deputy director at Parks, but urban forestry falls under me. Okay. So our job is to maintain all the right-of-way trees and all the park trees, all the trees on city property. We make sure they're healthy and safe and doing their job. So I'm not more, a lot of utility companies have arborists that just make sure everything's trimmed back and stuff. I'm a little bit more of, I kind of view trees as like the lungs of the earth. So
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So I love my community, so I want to make sure we have lots of them and they're doing their job. They're cleaning the air, absorbing carbon dioxide and doing their job, so we have a good, healthy community.
So is this as in-depth as to say, like, I'm trying to figure out like how in-depth this is. Is this so in-depth as to where you have a certain basal area coverage that you're trying to keep the city in to make sure that we're cleaning so much air or anything like that?
We don't have exact, but I will say in previous years, I've been in this role a few years, when we have to, I work really hard to not remove trees, but sometimes you have to. If they're dead, if they're dangerous. Our general rule is when we go out and do a report on a tree, if it is dangerous to like the roadway, if it's going to block an ambulance, if it's going to hurt somebody, we have to remove it. Okay. Even if it's not in that location, I work really hard to plant a tree back so our canopy doesn't complete, doesn't lessen.
Yeah. Trying to keep the same basal
So
area.
our downtown area a few years ago was not great with the amount of canopy. Mm-hmm. So we worked really hard over the last 3 years and upped our canopy. We planted a bunch of trees in all the downtown area. So we actually won a growth award last year because our canopy increased so much. They've done a bunch of studies with urban areas that, not only does it make the air better to breathe, mental health is better, property value goes up, things are just generally better when trees are in the environment. So we planted a bunch of trees.
As a city arborist, would you say that you have a green thumb?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
yes,
so have you always been interested in plants and stuff like that, or was this like a city found thing? You've always been interested in
Yes, I've always liked being outdoors. Kind of my peaceful place is being in the trees, I guess you could say. My original plan was to go to law school and be an environmental lawyer. And that derailed a little bit. I got out of college and actually worked in the mayor's office for a little while. Okay. The previous parks director was kind of trying to restructure the department and asked me to come on board and I started doing some environmental education stuff. I started kind of evaluating like pesticide use and the urban forestry department, and it all kind of jumped on my plate, and I love it. I thrive in it. It's my favorite thing,
That's awesome. What kind of initiatives do you undertake as a city arborist to maintain Frankfort's tree population? You kind of talked about it a little bit, but I'm sure there's a little bit more.
So as I told you, the canopy, the trees we planted, we developed a tree walk. So we labeled a majority of those trees. We partnered with tourism. So you can walk along with your phone. You scan the QR code. It gives you it gives you a map of them. It gives you information about each tree. We're hoping people will see one and love it and say, hey, I want to get one of those and plant it in our yard. But now downtown has a tree walk, an art walk, and a history walk, which is really, really cool. My favorite is Reforest Frankfort. So we get to have an event. It's normally a Saturday in April. We pick a location in our community. Tons of community members come out. We partner with the county, extension office, KSU, all of our city folks, and we teach people how to plant seedlings. They're small trees, but we We normally get about 1,000 in the ground, and we give away 1,000, and it gets tons of trees in the ground. We work really hard for the survival rate to be good, but it's also kind of an environmental fair. People come out and teach the community about kind of getting their brains working in that environmental direction, things they can do to help their environment. Reforest is absolutely my favorite. Yeah.
That's awesome. It sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that. That'll be awesome. Kind of switching up a little bit. Which pests or diseases are you seeing more frequently in our region lately in the trees and plants?
Leaf scorch is always noticeable, like bacterial leaf scorch. I will say, if you've heard of the emerald ash borer.
Yeah.
So Leawood is an older developed neighborhood, and their trees are beautiful and established and been there years, hundreds of years, but they have a bunch of ash trees. So we have had to focus the last few years a lot on Leawood. We've unfortunately had to take a lot of trees out because of that reason. They spread from one to another, and it's just caused a major problem in that neighborhood. But those folks are always willing to let us plant trees back. So we're keeping that canopy. It'll take it a while for those trees to get developed, but we're keeping that canopy pretty even. Yep.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I love the approach of like, take a tree, try and put at least one back.
I work really hard at that. Yes.
And trying to keep that tree covered, that forest area.
Yeah. And some people really, some people just hate certain trees or think certain trees shouldn't be around, and I struggle a little bit because I think they kind of all have a purpose. So that's where my struggle is.
So you mentioned several times about sometimes you do have to take trees. How do you assess whether a tree should be preserved or removed for safety's sake?
So if it's obviously totally dead, it's springtime and it's not leafing out, and it's dead, it's losing major limbs, and we're worried it's going to fall on a property or across the path in a park or in a roadway, that's obvious. We go ahead and take it out. But if it just has some branch loss, you can tell if it's got bark loss. If it's got root issues, it'll have, kind of rotten areas, insect holes, things like that. But I will say we work really hard, even if it's got some of these things. A lot of times trees are hardy and can bounce back. So we'll give it a good trim and kind of watch it. We won't immediately take it out unless we know for sure it's dead or it's really, really sick and gonna die. But for the most part, our usual plan is we will trim it and watch it, and then if it doesn't get any better, we'll take it out. But we try really hard to save them all.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
You've mentioned that you all, we try as hard as we can to not remove trees. Is there like anything, like if you do have a tree that's sick, is there any like treatment that you all will do or anything like that besides like trimming, or is there any,
Yeah. So usually I do it, we contract with a company that does our larger tree work when large equipment needs to be in. And that company actually does some injections that help trees. It's a little bit expensive, so we can't always do it. But if we have an area, or like a lot of times we have like some historic trees downtown, we'll do that to try to save it.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Who would have known that, you're out here like doctoring trees and stuff like that. Trying your hardest.
It takes a lot of work
to keep some beautiful trees in the city for us. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So what are some of the biggest challenges you faced as the city arborist, and what can the community do to help you out to make things a little easier on you?
So I am also the deputy director, so I wear lots of hats now, and I love my role, but it's really, really busy, and I'm trying to keep other areas going too in our parks. So also, we have an in-house tree crew that's pretty small. And then, as I said, we contract with a larger company. So we have a really big urban forestry department with not a whole lot of staff. So just bear with us when you call. We get lots and lots and lots of calls almost daily. And every single tree that we get a call about, we have to go out and evaluate. It's a right-of-way tree. We have to measure out. I have to do a report on each of them. We kind of determine, I don't normally determine by myself. I have a couple other folks in both the crews that we determine together what our health plan is going to be for that tree. So, don't call if it's a favor, or, if it's a tree that you just don't like, you think it's ugly, or you're tired of raking leaves. Just call if you think it's dangerous or needs to come out. You know what I mean? Okay. So enjoy your tree until it's time for it to go. Yeah.
And I feel like most people would probably agree to some point or another that, we want trees around. Yeah. They're good. They're good to look at. They help clean the air and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's like,
evaluate before you call, because we get lots and lots of calls, and it would help us determine. Because if we get the call, we're going to go out either way. So if just an ugly tree, just let it live.
So I mean, you've given a lot of good tips and stuff like that. I mean, what are some of the, like, to help people, maybe to help curb some of this, like, what are some tips and tricks and things you could tell the people to kind of curb some of this and kind of get people thinking, like, is this something I should call about? I know you've touched on some of this stuff already, but I'm just, trying to reiterate, like, when should people call? When should people kind of let it go?
Yeah. Well, we get some crazy calls where people are just tired of raking leaves. That's not a good call. Or, like I say, people just want a better view. The way like right-of-way trees work is we kind of share that space. So if you'd like to take a tree out, I wish you wouldn't, but if you want to take it out, that's totally up to you. If the city takes it out, it needs to be a danger. So evaluate it. If it's losing a lot of limbs, if it's falling in the roadway, if limbs are falling on your car, if you're scared of it, always call. And I don't mind to come out and take a look at a tree either way. Just make sure it's a necessity and educate yourself about them.
So would you say if somebody does decide to take out a tree on their property or something like that, would you encourage them to maybe try and plant one back somewhere else?
Always. I always talk to them. And I offer for us to plant one back. If it's in the right of way, I offer for us to plant one back. A lot of times people don't. So in that situation, if they don't want a tree, I don't want them to have one. So we'll plant one in one of our parks or another area. So it's maybe not right in that location, but the community still got the
same amount of trees.
Yes, yes, sir. Yep.
And so the trees that you are suggesting to people, are these mainly native species or?
Yep.
I know that there are some invasives that were really popular back in the 80s and 90s that are everywhere.
Bradford pears.
Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about.
They're beautiful and they're white and I love to look at them, but they are very, very, very invasive. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're kind of a pain. So
yes.
Maybe not as upset about a Bradford pear getting removed as like an oak tree or something like that.
Yes, so the problem with a Bradford pear is, we try to only take out things that are dead or dangerous because that's just kind of our ordinance. But we do have a group in town that helps with the Bradford pear removals, and even if you call, I'll help you get you in touch with that group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's good to know.
Yeah.
On that kind of same note, how can we as a community educate ourselves more about forestry? Like how can we learn more? I know you mentioned Reforest, and that's a good...
come to Reforest. Google, just look it up. I would say a lot of times I love that people want to plant trees and take it upon themselves, but do your research. Make sure if you're, what type of tree, what kind of root base it has, it needs, especially in downtown or urban areas, if you're planting a tree, if you put too big of a root ball, it's not going to survive. Make sure you know what size tree needs to go in your area, know what tree grows well there. There's all kinds of different trees now that grow columnar size, that go up taller for urban areas. And look around. Where are your utility lines? If you're going to have a tree, I know at the time it's pretty, but in 20 or 30 years, is this tree going to be in your utility lines? Is it going to fall on your porch? Just do your research and know your species before you plant it. And you can always call and ask. We'd be happy to help with that.
Okay, so that's something that is available to people. Could you kind of remind everybody, like, when is Reforest going to happen? How can they attend? If they want more information, how can they get more information?
So it's April 18th. It's from 8 to 12 in the morning. We kind of try to get people out early and planting and so they can get on with their day. It is at the Department of Library and Archives. So on Coffee Tree Road, right off the connector across from Capitol View Park. We are going to plant tons of seedlings there along that wood line. Awesome. And then where the Vietnam Memorial is, we're going to set up the whole environmental fair. So there'll be art from all of our local schools. There'll be free food, there'll be music, there'll be tree giveaways, so you can get trees to take home. It's going to be a fun event. There are other events going on that day. Earth Day's that day. There's lots of community stuff going on. April's so busy, so we kind of have to squeeze in a Saturday that works for everybody. But we're hoping people, I know everybody's busy on Saturdays, but come out early, register, get you a free T-shirt. They get a T-shirt every year with the previous art winner's logo on the front. So that kid is so excited because there are artists all over town. People wear those shirts everywhere.
Really? So it's the kids' arts that I did not know that.
So you'll vote at the event for next year's T-shirt art.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So show up and support.
Show up and support. Help us get trees in the ground. We're so excited. It's going to be fun.
This sounds
Wish
great.
for great weather.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
I think the weather will probably be good. I mean, this is
so.
a good thing. I think it'll probably be pretty good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right. So now you ready to do a little rapid fire?
This is my favorite part when I interview.
Okay.
It's weird to be on this side.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to see how this goes. Okay. We're gonna hear some hot takes from you, okay?
Okay, I'm ready.
And say the first thing that comes to mind.
Oh, this is a
no
struggle.
explanation. All right.
Okay,
You ready?
I'm ready.
You ready? All right, let's go.
Okay.
Your favorite Frankfort native species?
Oh, God, I can't decide on one. So I like me a good oak, a good sturdy white oak or chickapin. But I like a sweet bay magnolia flower, so it's beautiful.
Okay.
But I also like a sycamore because I like to be on the water and they grow around the water. Okay, that's not one. Move on. Sorry.
Oh,
Sycamores make me
what?
think of home. Like I like being on the creek
So
and
is
the
it
river.
sycamore? Is
Maybe
that your
sycamore.
answer?
I don't have a favorite tree. They're like
Okay,
children. You
all
can't
right.
have a favorite.
All right, now listen. The question ain't gonna get no easier. So
I know.
Here you go. Here's a good one. What is your favorite Frankfort park?
I can't. Again, that's a hard one. Okay, well, so our home base, our heartbeat is juniper. So I love juniper. But I also love, I'm going to be specific. I love Cove Springs, but I like the wetlands.
Oh yeah.
The wetlands are
Yeah.
so quiet, and it's our nature preserve, and I love the wetlands.
I have
it's
to agree
under
with
a little
you.
construction right now, but when
Yeah.
it gets back open, please everybody go enjoy it because it's a magical place.
I have to agree with you there. All right, so another good one right here. Favorite local restaurant?
Local. I like Andy's Bakery.
Okay.
My daughter and I love breakfast there.
Hey, I can't.
The
Can't hate on that.
everything cream cheese croissant is
Oh,
my
yeah.
oldest favorite thing ever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
On a Saturday morning in Frankfort, where can we find you?
Well, in a park, probably at an event, or in a park at a ball field. That's my daughter plays softball and my youngest daughter plays soccer. So I'm probably in a park still on
So
Saturday
you're
morning.
you're just parks to the core.
Yeah, it's in my soul, obviously.
If you're not at home, you're in a park.
Yes.
I guess.
exactly.
I mean, what else can we
Come
expect?
join us. It's a good day.
That's what I'm
It's a
saying.
good
I mean,
day.
that's what we expect from
Yeah, I live and breathe it. Yes.
That's crazy. Okay, that's not crazy. It's good. It's great.
Thank
It's
you.
great. It's
Thank you.
good.
I love my community.
All right, that's awesome. Awesome. Thank you for joining us this week.
Thanks for hosting me. This was fun.
It was fun.
It was fun. It's
great.
cool being on this side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. Fellow Frankfortians, we'll catch you again next week on the City of Frankfort podcast. Don't forget to follow the City of Frankfort podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And make sure you subscribe to our show feed on Podbean to get weekly episodes.
Bye.